Boys are often the victims of sexual assault. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I've spent years working with men who are recovering from being sexual assault victims. And I would like to take some time to discuss with you what symptoms of what symptoms a survivor of sexual assault may have and how that looks in men, because so often we talk about what this looks like in women and what some of the symptoms are in women, and what over a period of time what that looks like. So just to name off some of the few, and I just want to put a disclaimer on this that listener discretion is advised, but also these symptoms aren't necessarily exclusive. They may manifest with other conditions as well. So some of the symptoms that I have seen in men who have been survivors of childhood sexual assault are hypersexuality, meaning that they can go through periods where they are having sex with a lot of people, or they can be asexual, which means that they are not having sex with anyone. So it can vacillate between extremes. There can be symptoms of paranoia, specifically with being around other men or having people too close to them in their personal space. Another symptom that can show up is what most of us refer to as homophobia, which is not the correct term, but for simplicity's sake, I will mention it here, is that they have a fear of, male on male relationships, so they don't like looking at it. It triggers them to no end, even or especially when they see it in their own children. So they may have a difficult time, just looking at it on TV. Also, that they may have challenges with accepting or even being in the presence of alternative sexual lifestyles. So even transgender or other types of, of alternative lifestyles that they feel like is not the norm, that they've been that they have been conditioned to believe, and so they, men want to present as heterosexual as possible. So if they do have fantasies around being with another man, they can become very self-destructive or self-loathing. Self-destructiveness can manifest in different ways. So it could be alcohol or other substance use. It could be cutting, so cutting or burning or other physical self-harming behaviors, just to name a few. If they want to present, especially if they've been assaulted by another man and they want to present as heterosexual as possible, they may have a lot of challenges in their relationships with women, and specifically they tend to push the woman away, or there may be they may express anger in that relationship. They may want to spend a lot of time alone, and they can't really explain why. One of the, I think, major hallmarks that I've noticed that differentiates male from female victims, what I've seen with my practice, is that most men go a lifetime without telling anyone that they've been a victim of sexual assault, or at least they go for many years. The exceptions would be if like court cases or something like that comes up for them, but for the most part, most men try to bury it and appear to be super strong, super masculine, and super resilient. And so that can also present as hyper masculine, or what people now refer to as toxic masculinity. So those those could be some of the signs, in addition to depression and anxiety. Paranoia can also manifest. So some of the challenges or some of the ways in where I've seen this show up with men, where they just start feeling paranoid out of nowhere, as they may start carrying weapons, or accumulating weapons because they feel unsafe. And that could seem to just, come out of thin air or when they're triggered. But you may not necessarily know what the trigger is, and they may not also be able to identify what the trigger is. But that, they don't, again, just being super suspicious of people or not liking people to be close to them. And I think another big telltale sign, especially if they've been assaulted by a man, is that they are afraid of other men. They don't typically like to have friendships with other men, or it's hard for them to be in a crowded room for men. And again, these symptoms can vary from person to person. It's not an extensive list, but just some of the signs and symptoms I've seen of men who were childhood victims of sexual assault.